I am chopping up an oak tree right here. This is a massive oak tree, and our power company has said that we need to cut this tree down. All right. And our power company, which is PSE&G in New Jersey, PSE and G in New Jersey, said that this oak tree, no matter how old it is, no matter how big it is, it needs to be cut below our power lines. So they want to cut it down below right there. They said they'll get it down as low to the ground as possible. All right. So oak trees, they're not a tree that if we were to just cut it down just below the power line, they would grow back. An oak tree is not likely to grow back. So this is likely to be a dead tree if they were to cut it down below the power line. So yeah, so this is where we're at right now. So usually this enclosure right here, this little fence right here, is usually around all these fence posts right here. I usually have this enclosure around here. I took out some of the fruit trees just to make sure that the tree company didn't kill my fruit trees. So we wanted to make sure the tree company didn't kill my fruit trees. So I moved the fence, as you can see the fence posts, and we're gonna finish chopping up these logs, these rounds. So the electric company said that they need our tree to be below the power lines. So I didn't opt into cutting this tree down. I didn't want this tree cut down. Speculum Richie, man, the mechanic, man, what's going on? Hey, baby. Okay. I didn't opt for this tree to get taken down. The power company came by one day, maybe about 2, 3 weeks ago, and said that this tree, because it's been dying, and there's a fungus in New Jersey that's been cutting down, or not cutting down, but it's been affecting trees, and the trees have been getting cut down because of the fungus in New Jersey. That this massive oak tree is needing to get cut down. So in our yard, I mean, it works as a double favor for us. We wanted some more sunlight in our yard. I wasn't going to cut down the tree just for the sunlight, but because they're going to cut it down, we get some more sunlight. But also, this tree had fungus, and you see that driveway right there. Driveway is our neighbor's driveway, and this tree was dropping limbs because of the fungus that's in New Jersey, and killing trees. If you can see that right there, you see that green fungus right there that's on the trees? That's killing trees and hollowing out trees and killing trees from the inside out. So if you don't know, that green fungus right there, that's a fungus that's definitely affecting trees in New Jersey. The Shuriken Zone, man. Hey, buddy, man. What's going on, man? I've been seeing your posts, man. Been looking at your teas, man. I've been telling my wife all about your teas, man. We definitely have a few teapots solely because of you, the Shuriken Zone, man. He's the tea connoisseur, and I've been definitely drinking more tea because of him. But and he's an avid knife thrower, a spectacular knife thrower. But yeah, back to the task at hand. This tree company is in the process of taking down our tree. This oak tree right here. They took down a bunch of leaves. They made a bunch of mulch, and we're giving our mulch back to our front yard food forest where we have a bunch of fruit trees and such. There's still pears and such growing on in our food forest here. But it's a shame to lose a majestic tree, but it's got to go. Yeah, it's not our choice, man. It really wasn't our choice to take down this tree, but it is what it is. The power company said they want it cut below the power line, and I looked it up, and oak trees, which this was right here, or it still is an oak tree, but oak trees don't do well by cutting them down past a certain length. If you cut more than 25% of an oak tree, they tend to not do well, or they may die. More than 25% of this tree has been cut already. Uh, all the foliage predominantly has been cut already. So now it's down to whether I'm going to make use of this wood right here or just let them take it away. So for me, I've been trying to take advantage of trees that have been taken down for a while now. and using it for firewood. If I can use the wood chips in my garden for ground cover and just a lot of other things. You can check out my content. I love arborist mulch. That's what we're going to do. I'm getting ready to get the chainsaw and finish getting back out here and cutting this wood up here. But yeah, I especially love if we can take our own oak tree, our own maple trees, or whatever trees that we actually have on the property and use them for mulching and use them for firewood. I have a particular connection to the trees because they've been on this property, maybe like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years before we've been on this property. So these trees are our landowners, besides the deer animals that we get on this property. I just taking a walk and getting our chainsaw. Besides these animals that have been on the property, these trees are our landlord. They've been dictating the way things go and don't go, the way things grow and don't grow. But yeah, it's time to get to it. I got this batch right here that I'm going to cut up because I got the tree company coming to maybe tomorrow to cut down the rest of the tree, and I got to make way because they were going to take this stuff away. And I told them, I said, you don't need to take this stuff away. It's my tree. You hear me? I told them, I said, look, if you're going to take the liberty to cut down my tree, and I didn't ask you to take it down, you asked and said that it's mandatory that this tree has to be cut down and cut down below my power line. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it. And I had a few neighbors that didn't like it neither. I had a couple neighbors across the street that said, they moved here in 1973, and they said this tree has been here before we moved here, before you moved here, and my neighbors didn't like that. My neighbors didn't like that. They said they've been here since 1973, and I got a history lesson. I had to get a history lesson because of this power company. They said my neighbors. They said, "Yo, I've been here since 1973, and you're cutting that tree down right now. This tree has been here before you. This tree has been here before me. This tree has been here before me and my wife and our kids. And you're cutting this tree down." I said, "Sir, ma'am, no disrespect. This was out of my hands. I didn't ask for this tree to get cut down. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I put a bunch of fruit trees in our front yard food forest. All right, and this tree being removed will benefit what we have growing in our front yard food forest. But everything that we had grown in our front yard food forest was doing decent and okay before this tree getting cut down. So we didn't need it getting cut down, but it will help with a little bit more sunlight. But no, this is a massive tree, and this tree, this was a pillar in our community. Now that I find out, this tree was a staple in our community. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's an end of one chapter, but it's also the beginning of another chapter because I've been reforesting without even knowing it. All right. So, granted, I know that I'm planting trees. I know I put 13 fruit trees in my front yard food forest, but I didn't know I was subsequently reforesting, in preparation for a tree being removed. So I didn't know this tree would be removed at a time when I started planting all these other fruit trees. So when you take a massive tree like this out, it can cause settling in the ground. It can cause other subsequent things. But the fact that we're reforesting and planting so many other trees, this should kind of take up a lot of the water that tree was taking up, and it should help with the settling. And like I said, I got three other fruit trees in my front yard food forest, and I have two other crepe myrtles that I'm going to put in the ground on each side of where that tree is being taken out of because they're not going to grind the stump. They're not going to grind the stump. So I'm going to put a crepe myrtle on one side. I'm going to put another crepe myrtle on the other side that are full-fledged trees, maybe about like 2.5-inch caliper in diameter of their trunk. I'm going to put two crepe myrtles on each side to help soak up some of that moisture and water that this tree was soaking up, so that we don't get so much ground settling, so that we don't affect the house and have the house settling. But yeah, let's get to it. Let's chop up this wood because I know y'all didn't come here for my lectures. Let's chop up this wood and let's get to it. All right, appreciate y'all for tuning in. All right, it's good that you're having. Let's see. It's good that you're having it removed before it be potentially falls and damages houses. Yes, so on and so forth. Yes, it has become an issue because we have been having branches fall because of the fungus, and it's been killing the trees in our area. So this is the third tree that we have had removed since we moved to this property because of this fungus that's been growing in New Jersey and is killing some of these older trees. But let's get to it. All right, that's what y'all came for, your chainsaw work. Let's get to it. All right, I already warmed this thing up, so we're gonna get right back to it. All right, let's go now. It's go time. Yep. Go time. Yeah, yeah. All right, we're getting them done. We got some nice logs right here. We got some good splitting to get to. Some good splitting to get to. Yeah. Okay. All right. We getting there. We got a few more. We got some more pieces, but we gotta get to it. Okay. That was an awkward piece right there. That these awkward pieces right here. Sometimes I cut them off because this those are awkward pieces from when they cut down the tree, but they make it really awkward for when I'm splitting them. So I like a flat split for when I'm chopping them up with the axe. All right, we got a lot of rounds going. All right, we're gonna bust this one in half. So we do half, half or thirds. I think I'm gonna do this one in thirds right here. right, let's do it. Yeah. A lot of rounds. Busting this up properly. Properly. Now this one right here, I'm gonna chop this little piece off because this how they chop that branch off. It's not an even cut. Alright? This is good firewood regardless. It's good firewood, but it's not a good cut. So when I start splitting them with the axe, I want this to be a proper cut. Same thing with this one. This right here, this is not a proper cut. That's not a proper cut. All right, it's good firewood, but it's not a proper cut. All right, so let's get to it. Let's bust this all up. I would love to get into the chat right now, but I got a lot of work to do right now. Dunzo, let's go. Dunzo, and this is a skip tooth chain. It's not a regular chain. This is a skip tooth chain right here. It actually works better than the regular chains. It's counterintuitive, but it actually works better. Skip tooth chain right here. There you go. Go time. Alright, so I gotta cut this up because the tree company might come tomorrow and want to cut down the rest of this tree. So I gotta get rid of this. They asked me, they said, you want to keep all this? I said, yeah. They said, why? I said, none of your business. It didn't matter because they got to pay to get rid of it. So it didn't matter why I'm keeping this. It's not their business. All they know is they ain't got to pay to get rid of it. You know? You feel me? That's how we doing stuff right here. Let's go. Good firewood. Not even just good. This is great firewood. Because all this stuff is not all eaten up and decayed. You know, some of that stuff that's eaten up and decayed might burn a lot quicker. Alright, this stuff is still good. Alright, I put my brake on. You saw that? I put my brake on. I can sit this down. Alright. Put our piece of wood right here. And stagger our piece of wood so that we can make some off cuts right here. Stagger our piece of wood. Alright, go time. It's go time. Right? We just staggered our piece of wood. Alright. Alright, it's go time. So some of these pieces, I just made a bunch of rounds right here that these are really good for splitting with an axe. And that's a whole separate video about splitting wood with an axe. You know, the type of axe that's good for this. But I want to get through all this wood right here and make all the rounds that we need to make. And then maybe tomorrow or the next day, I'll make the video on splitting these rounds before this tree company can take down the rest of this tree. But we got work to get to. All right, so let's get to it. All right, let's finish the job. All right, we gotta get the job done. Make sure we got enough gas in here. Alright, there we go. Brake off. No brakes, all gas, no brakes, right? Look at that, beautiful. It's a beautiful cut right there. Amazing cut right there. Brakes, throw the brakes on, adjust it, adjust this bad thing. All right, and then we go again. Take the brake off, and it's go time. Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. Look at that. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful cut right there. Can't ask for better than that. Throw the brake on. Boom. Brake is on. I can sit her down. Ah. That's a brand new Husqvarna 455 Rancher. Ah. She been treating me good since I got her. She been treating me real good. All right. On to the next one. Let's go. Ah. Now we're going to chop off this little piece right here that makes it awkward. They got to cut that piece to bring it down easier. So I'm going to cut that piece off, and then we're going to make a few cuts. Let's go. Break off. Let's go. Go time. It's go time. All right, cut it. All right, that awkward piece is off. Let's go. Look at that. Easy, easy, easy. Light work. Light work. Like I said, light work. I want to bust this one in half. I had to. I could have made it longer pieces, but I don't have a 16-inch wood burning stove yet. So I'm not going to make these pieces the longest, the 16-inch width as possible. But yeah, we're going to bust this one more time. So hit this one more time before we move on. Dunzo, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's work. We got work to do. Let's work. Cut this awkward piece off right here. Okay. Good firewood, but it's an awkward cut for splitting firewood with an axe. So we got to cut that off, and let's get to work. We got work to do. All right, get out of my way. Come on. Get out of my way. Come on. Come on now. Now we start getting into like different splits and stuff. So these things start to get split this way, split that way, and it becomes a lot more dense pieces and a lot more harder pieces to cut. But we're going to cut this stuff up regardless. We're going to get through it, and I don't want to have to explain every piece. So, I don't want to have to explain every piece, so we're just going to get through it, and it is what it is. All right, I'll talk about it afterwards. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. That's work. That's work. That's work. Brakes on. We got a dropper. We got to move stuff, put the brakes on, and work. All right. Brake and work. Brake and work. All right. Let's move this. We're more than halfway through. Come on now. We got to finish the job. We got to finish the job. Let's go. It's go time. Come on, let's work. We got to cut this awkward piece off, and it's time to work. Brakes off. Go time. Let's go. Let's work. All right, let's work. Let's work. Go time. All right, let's work. Some of this stuff get real awkward. This right here, this is like a split piece between a log wanting to go this way and a log wanting to go that way. Sometimes I want to split it in half and just say, you know what, it is what it is, call it a day. Let's go. I think I'm going to do that. Today I'm going to split this thing in half. I don't usually do that. All right, look at that. That's a beautiful cut right there. All right, but when it comes to splitting with an axe, that's going to suck to cut splitting with an axe. So I'll probably end up cutting that more with the chainsaw, make it into good firewood, but that's not a good splitter. That's not a good splitter for splitting with an axe. Let's finish splitting this stuff. That's good to split for splitting with an axe and be done with it. We're almost done. We're almost done. Let's go. Finish your job. Throw the brakes on. Finish your job. Yeah. Let's go. Throw the brakes on. Finish your job. There we go. So I'm going to bring them about right here, and we're going to work. Let's work. Come on now. Brakes off. Let's go. Brakes on. And this is a hardwood chain right here. All split tooth, hardwood. It's all oak right here. All hardwood. Split tooth chain. All right, we got some knotting right here. So you see that splitting and that knotting. So we're gonna work around that. We're gonna cut that piece off and we're gonna split this into two right here. Break off. Let's go. One-handed. That's a good chainsaw. One-handed. Throw the brake on. Let's work. All right. Brake off. Let's go. Beautiful. 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 Nice cuts right there. And we got a few more pieces. Let's work. We got enough gas. I filled the gas up. I filled that chainsaw lubricant up. Let's work. Let's work. We came out here to work. Come on, let's get it done. Break off, let's go. Let's work. Let's go. Spin it right off. It's just about angles. Sometimes you don't got the right angle, it'll clamp the blade. But this is not a heavy enough thing. It's not a heavy enough log where it's going to keep my blade stuck. all the top cuts, and then I'll split it over and finish the cuts on the other side. Alright, let's spin her over. Finish the cuts. Finish these cuts off. Let's go. Yep. Yep. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yep. That's how we doing it. We got a couple more pieces. Throw the brakes on. Let's go. Let's work. Let's work. Ah. Come on now. We got a couple more pieces. A couple more pieces to work with, and then we're done. For the day, at least. 2 more pieces, and that's it. 2 more of their cuts, at least. Well, we got a lot of rounds up here to bust up with this axe. Let's work. Get that foliage up out of here, and let's cut these rounds. That's 2. Come on now. Let's go. Let's work. That's 3. Let's work. Alright, throw the brakes on. We want to elevate this so we're not burying our saw into the ground. Elevate that a little bit. Hit that first cut. It's gonna be a short round. Second cut is gonna be over that where that knot is. Alright. We're starting to lock up. Alright, we're starting to lock up. So we're gonna make sure we got our bar and chain oils good, and then we're gonna cut the rest of this round. That's the last round right here, and we're gonna cut this up and we're good to go. But you see we busted up all these rounds right here. You know, did what we were supposed to do, came out here, we did what we were supposed to do. Alright. We're starting to lock up a little bit. But we're gonna definitely check that bar and chain oil, make sure we're good. But you see the deal. Bust up all these rounds, did what we came out here to do. And it's our oak tree. Alright. An oak tree that we wasn't intending to cut down, but we had to cut it down. It is what it is. How are you liking the Husqvarna? Husqvarna's been working real good. Did you ever locate the skip chains for the 455 Rancher? That's what I'm running right now. I'm running a 455 Rancher off the skip tube chain. That's what I'm using right now. This is all skip tube chain business right here. All right, none of this is regular store-bought chain. This is skip tube chain. And I'll show you. I'll get the close-up. But this is the tree that we're cutting down. This oak tree. The tree company has to come back and cut down the rest of this tree right here. All right, so they got to come down and cut it below the power lines for sure. But they said they'll cut it down as low as they can cut it down without having to grind the stump. But they left these logs down here. So I said, you know what? Go ahead and leave them. I'm going to use them as firewood, man. Go ahead and leave them. Cut them down. I'll use them as firewood. But yeah, you see me. I cut them all into sizable rounds for splitting into firewood. All right, so I'm gonna bust them up with my axe. All right, but you can see we running the Husqvarna. All right, and you can see the skip tooth right there. For those that didn't know what that looks like, or those that didn't realize that I was using it, you can see this is a skip tooth chain right here. All right, so right there, that gap right there, that gap you see right there, there would usually be another tooth right there, and that's the skip tooth chain right there. And you can see I turned over the bar. So I flipped the bar, and we're using a skip 2 chain, and yeah, we're getting through stuff real easy. All right, so I got a couple more pieces to get through, and we're done for the night. Okay, I just want to bust this up so that I can move this out the way. So the tree company, if the tree company come tomorrow, all right, I'm not impeding anything that they have to any space or anything. That's why I make sure they got all the space that they need to cut down the rest of this massive tree. And I'm trying to get them to cut this into at least 16 to 12-inch rounds. So that's what I'm working on right there. Uh, did you ever locate the skip chains for? Okay, all right. Just make sure everybody. I'm trying to answer any questions. Make any lumber from it. Yeah. All right. My wife bought me a lumber mill. All right, that's a whole nother video and question right there that it's not even for this video. My wife bought me a lumber mill, making lumber and building stuff with it. So, yeah, we got some black walnut in the backyard. We got some oak right here. All right, so that's a whole nother video. But yeah, I just bust this up real fast, and I'm getting ready to knock off the last couple pieces. Just wanted to check in and see what everybody's talking about, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. All right. I'll see you on the next one. This we pretty much done for the night. Now I just got to move this logs over so I can where I stack them at so that they can dry off, and then I'll be splitting them with my uh my Council 5. I got the Council 6 axes. All right, I got now 7 axes now, but I just bought the Council 6. I've been rocking with the Council 5 and the Council 6. They've been my tried and true axes for splitting these logs. But yeah, no, we're done for the night. All right, just want to hit it with a chainsaw and then we get to splitting with the axe. Yeah, backyard lumberjack. I'll see you on the next one. Stay tuned. Subscribe.